But then we, right here, we talk to due to limited resources.
Right. And it'll be based on the amount of funds. And applicants will be selected starting with the lowest income. So you can't have starting with the lowest income or first come, first served.
Right.
And both. So it's one or the other. And this one, I didn't really know what this is all about. But the program administrator shall request proposed.
So, you know, Public Works may say, oh, well, we'll take 2. This department may say, we'll take 4. That kind of thing.
I did every motion except for the 4.
So if you want to make it say that. Because I didn't know that.
Both elections, that's on every one.
But we shouldn't, we have to have the word stand alone.
These farms are guilty right now. I hate it in German. I'm just like, yeah. They just state that there's.
Well, let's see. Make that say what you want to say.
I jumped my face on somebody.
Did I hear someone screaming? Did I hear someone?
What I'll do is I'll just leave my palm card.
Yeah, I did.
Elastic band into the
Yeah.
something. All right, there you go.
I did the fuck her.
February.
Door. Yeah.
I just I took a whole bunch with me, whole bunch. Last administrator shall request proposed.
So what I ended up doing is I bought that. And then to make postcards.
Accounts is optional.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
So I just cut them.
Well, it doesn't say anything.
That's awesome.
Shall
It's
request
fine, it's fine as
members of all
It'll be interesting when we find out.
shall request the number of proposed
Because if you run
headcounts
increase in rate.
needed by their department.
I don't really get rid of the person knows. Take it.
Yeah, but people still see a change in their taxes and they still explain it.
I go over and click control.
That's the oldest one, like, you were here, you can.
Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Is that all right with you guys? Okay. I would like to call this meeting to order. I'd like to recognize that that 6 councilors are present. Councilor Smart is excused absent. So in addition, the city administrator is present, and the city clerk, Ms. Hughes, is present. If you would please join the council in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to start off with a very pleasant event, a recognition service for Mr. John St. Cyr, and also to recognize that he's come here with his wife and 2 kids too. But Mr. St. Cyr is the guest of honor. On April 23rd, this past year, short distance from my house, a grease fire broke out in the kitchen of a 3rd-floor apartment. The tenant and her 2 children safely exited the building. The tenant's son ran to find help and got the attention of Mr. John St. Cyr. Mr. St. Cyr located a dry chemical extinguisher and hurried to the fire. The majority of the fire was extinguished by Mr. St. Cyr before the fire department arrived on scene. Because of this quick thinking and action taken by Mr. St. Cyr, minimal damage was done to the home and no injuries were sustained. We'd like to thank Mr. St. Cyr on behalf of the city, and especially the fire department, for your willingness to help others in a dangerous situation. Your bravery and quick thinking are appreciated by your community. Mr. St. Cyr, would you come forward? And if your kids would like to come too, or your son, and say hello to the council, and, well, I'll be introducing them in a minute. I wanted to get you a certificate first. So we'll start off with this wonderful certificate for recognition of the appreciation of the fire department and the entire city for your quick thinking and prompt action. So thank you very much, John. We appreciate it. Also is here to agree and say thank you, and this is Seth? Sam, and thank you, Sam, very much. And we have a couple of the officers here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can I get some photos with everybody, please?
Yep, and so we'll take a few photos, and then if I could get the council to come out and around so that we can get the whole group. And Mrs. St. Cyr, do you want to come forward also? We have a photographer. She's a skilled photographer, and she will, and we'll make sure you get a copy. So here we are. And smile for Ally. She's our new intern, or one of the two, in the admin section. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Councilor Mentor, Councilor Colton, Councilor Johnston, Councilor Doyle. Yes. Councilor Day and Councilor Walker. Your councilor is Councilor Johnston. That's the guy who goes wherever every day. So here's your certificate. Thank you very much. Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is the public comment, and I have two names here. So I have two names for public comment. First is Lanny Campbell. If you would step forward and state your name and address into the microphone for the record.
All right, it working?
I believe it is.
Okay. My name is Lainey Campbell, and I live at 110 Main Street, Island Terrace Condo Association.
Thank you very much.
Could you bring the mic down just a little bit?
Bring it down.
Yeah.
There
Is
you
that
go.
better?
So you can speak
You'll have to
directly.
excuse
Speak
me.
directly
I've
into it.
recently accepted that I need to wear glasses, but I'm not yet ready to accept that I need bifocals, so I'm going to be doing this. Anyway, so my name is Lainey Campbell, and I am an owner at Island Terrace Condos, also known as ITOA.
Speak directly into that microphone, please. That's
Okay. So it's going to be a challenge with my
Unless it's
glasses,
not
the
connected,
microphone,
I-
and that. Are you checking to see?
yes, ma'am. You can start at any time.
Oh, I thought he was going to change it.
Oh,
Is it set now?
I hope it is.
Okay.
They on over
As
there?
I'm sure most of you know,
Not on here. Hello, 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 hello.
Hello.
Our mics are off.
Hello, hello.
Turn them on.
I think we're just coming on. No, it's not.
testing.
Okay.
We'll get there in a second.
Hello.
Technical difficulty. Is it? Can you hear me or?
Yes, but we want to make sure it goes out onto the internet too.
Okay.
So speak into the microphone again.
Yeah, it's not.
Is that better?
I think it's being amplified,
Hello, hello.
I can hear.
but not the council.
Nope. It's not up there. Hello, hello.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So it's just the amplification.
Not
in
hearing
here.
it here.
So it.
So it's
can-
going out over the internet fine.
Okay.
It's just not hitting these speakers.
Okay. So shall I start again?
Please do.
Okay. My name is Lainey Campbell, and I am an owner at Island Terrace Condos, also known as ITOA or ITOA. As I'm sure most of you know, we at Island Terrace have struggled for years with a series of challenging neighbors, and that the space in the lower 2 levels of our building, historically known as Unit 91, and part of our association, has changed ownership no fewer than 5 times in a bit more than 4 years. In May of 2015, a deed in lieu of foreclosure was given from Unit 91 LLC, a Kevin Mattson and Sam Zaitlin entity, to Swarnays Properties LLC, which was owned by ITOA, after Unit 91 LLC failed to pay more than $300,000 in condo fees. Unit 91 LLC, the Mattson Corporation, failed to disclose to Island Terrace an outstanding tax lien. When we got the tax lien in November of 2016, we had already paid our own taxes, and since we had not been paid over $300,000 in condo fees, we simply had no more money to pay the undisclosed lien, the previously undisclosed lien. In December of 2016, or January of 2017, the city took Unit 91 for taxes. On August 6, 2018, the city sold Unit 91 to 110 Main Street Holdings LLC, an entity we understand that was controlled by Mr. Bernie Saulnier. On August 14th, just a week later, after buying the unit, the unit was sold again to 91 Main Corporation, a company that I understand is controlled by a Mr. Edward Moore from Massachusetts. Island Terrace was hopeful that under the city's ownership, there would be progress, and indeed there was, in resolving many outstanding issues from the heating system, the mezzanine, several easements for property access, all controlled by various entities of Mattson and Zaitlin. We were optimistic when the city's economic development director, Bill Mann, tried to work with all parties to find solutions to these issues. Unfortunately for us, Mr. Mattson and Mr. Zaitlin were slow to perform and minimize the cost and extent of needed repairs to both the heating system and to the mezzanine. The failure to maintain the heating system finally reached a breaking point in the winter of 2017-18 when the system broke down for several days during one of the coldest periods in decades. We were a community of 90 families without heat in the coldest weather there had been in Maine in decades. And in previous years, the heating system was allowed to run out of oil. Later, when Saco Island West LLC, one of Mattson and Zaitlin's companies, applied to build several micro-unit apartments in the space above Run-of-the-Mill, which Kevin Mattson owns the building, number 3 on Saco Island, Bill Mann suggested a stipulation be added to the approval. That stipulation said that no occupancy permit should be given for Building 3 should be issued until all of the repairs to the mezzanine were fully completed to the satisfaction of the City of Saco's Code Department. The repairs to the mezzanine, while started, remain incomplete, yet it seems that some of the units in Building 3 have been occupied. I feel that ITOA has waited and has been patient. The city and ITOA have been collaborative. ITOA has paid for a new heating system that should have been funded and installed by the operators of the old system. Mr. Mann and the city's attorneys were successful in getting the easements and helpful in starting the path to where we now own our own heating system, despite the uncalled for and inaccurate portrayal by Mr. Zaitlin in the local media. Several of our unit owners wrote rebuttal letters to that newspaper in his support. We hope that Mr. Mann's advocacy to see a fair and positive resolution did not have something to do with his departure from the city. I don't know. I do know that communication dropped off subsequently. Communication with ITOA would seem reasonable given our patience, our substantial contributions to the vitality of our downtown neighborhood. Once the heating system, easements, and mezzanine issues are resolved, it was predicted that the value of our units and over time the city's tax revenues would rise and all dollars spent by the city related to Unit 91 would be recovered. I believe that is correct. We are grateful for his good efforts. The only remaining issue is the repair to the mezzanine. I have concern that some of the units in Building 3 have been occupied prior to the completion of the mezzanine repairs. We ask for the city's assurance that it will insist upon the completion of the repairs to the mezzanine before any more units in Building 3 are allowed to be occupied. We also want to let the council know that we hope for the best with the development of Unit 91. It is to our advantage and to the city's advantage. Unrelated, but maybe not, I'm curious about the status of the project on the east side of the island. I understand that it's been foreclosed on, and is that still the case? Does the city know the status of the Waters project? Kevin Sutherland, as city administrator, is responsible for ensuring that the developers follow through. We like Kevin. I like Kevin. He's also been extremely helpful to us. This community needs him to insist that the work on the mezzanine be completed before any further occupancy occurs. And I want to thank you all for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. And if you have that in electronic form, if you would send it to the city clerk.
I can. I made a lot of corrections to it, so it might take me till the end of tomorrow to do that.
All right. Thank you very much.
I reread it. I
Yep.
rewrote it.
Okay.
I will do that. Is your email address on this website?
And you can send it to me, I'll make sure it gets to her. You can send it to me, you have my contact information.
I know.
Thanks.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
So next up is Mr. White. And if you would state your name and address for the record, please.
Dan White of HW Land Company, Portland, Maine. We're on the consent agenda, so I'm not sure if I'm allowed to speak or not, but it's okay.
Yeah, you've got 3, this is public comment. You're allowed to speak.
Oh, well, okay, thank you very much.
So I'm going to push the button in just a minute. So start.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to address Stonewall Lane. I was hoping to say something in the last meeting. I didn't realize there was a sign-in requirement. It says how we came in 2017 about getting the road hopefully accepted by the city. We actually came, it was approved in 2004, and I think the road was basically finished in 2005, short of the final coat. And we came to the city in 2005 to start the process, not really 2017, whereupon we learned you had to have a majority of the houses built before you could approach the city. And before it's a 9-lot subdivision, so before we could get to 5, actually it turned out later you needed 7, before you hit that number, the Great Recession of 2008 came along, and that area of town got hit pretty hard, where houses going for $350 were suddenly going for $250 and being foreclosed on. So we kind of got put on ice for a 5-6 year period there before the values came back and we could justify building again. So as soon as they did, we started up again, and that's why it just took so long, and I just wanted that to be known. And I guess the other thing was, at the time when we got approval, there was never any talk about dead-end roads not being popular, or there was no reason not to do it, and all indications were if you designed and build it as a dead-end road, you'd be accepted. So that's what we did. So I just wanted that in the record, I guess. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you very much. Next up is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second by Councilor Archer. So a motion is made by Councilor Minthorn, seconded by Councilor Archer. Does any councilor wish to pull an item from the consent agenda?
I do.
Yes, ma'am, and you would like to pull
The property tax.
item E.
Item E.
Yes, thank you very much. Any other councilors wish to pull any other items out of the consent agenda? Looking to my right, seeing none. Looking to my left, seeing none. So this vote is entirely on the consent agenda. Councilor Archer? Aye. Councilor Gay?
Yes.
Councilor Doyle?
Yes.
Councilor Copeland?
Yes.
Councilor Minthorn?
Yes.
And Councilor Johnston?
Yes.
That motion passes 6-0. The next matter is item E, and I believe that's a motion by Councilor Minthorn.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Well, this year marks the 10th year of supporting our seniors with the property tax relief program. Council is proposing an overhaul to the structure of the program to include 2 programs. The property tax credit work-off program will continue to connect senior citizens with city departments to provide support to the assigned departments. In exchange for their assistance with various tasks, the individual earns tax abatement credits toward their property tax bill. In addition, a new program is being considered as part of this change. The Tax Fairness Credit Matching Program will provide a $500 tax credit to those over the age of 69 and in the greatest need. based on the review of the needs of the program and the interest of the improved disclosure on benefits for the purpose of state and federal reporting. The guidelines have been further updated since last year. We are proposing for the approval for up to 40 participants in the property tax credit work-off program for the fiscal year 2019-2020. Upon completion of the minimum of 100 hours of service, each participant will be eligible for a maximum abatement of $1,200. We are also proposing the approval of up to 20 participants in the Tax Fairness Credit Matching Program. Finally, we'd like to thank the Senior Tax Abatement Ad Hoc Committee for their time and effort in preparing the revised program for the council to consider.
And the motion is?
And the motion is off my screen. Hold on one second.
Just, yep, top of the second page.
Be it ordered that the City Council authorize up to 40 senior tax abatements pursuant to City Code, Chapter 220, Article 1, D1, for fiscal year 2019-2020, 20 senior tax abatements pursuant to City Code, Chapter 220, Article 1, D2, for fiscal year 2019-2020, and further replace and approve Exhibit 2, Chapter 220, Attachment 1, City of Saco Property Tax Assistance Programs, amended 6/3/2019. I move to approve the order.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilor Minthorn, second by Councilor Doyle. So let me ask for comments. Any comments? Councilor Copeland?
Yes, I move to amend.
Yes, ma'am.
On agenda item E, the City Code Chapter 220 Amendment Attachment 1 has, I see that it's been printed and put before everyone. It's been emailed to the clerk. So,
So each of the council has received the changes being requested by Councilor Copeland as an amendment.
in addition,
Yes, ma'am.
on page, marked page 29, so I believe that's 29 of the PDF, letter F, Roman 2. I've been talking with Councilor Minthorn, and we've come up with a little change here. So we're going to still remove department. We're going to also remove head counts, but in their place, it's going to say number of volunteers needed. So the entire line would read, the program administrator shall request proposed number of volunteers needed for the upcoming program year by the first Monday in February.
Thank you very much for that clarification. I have a motion to amend. Do I have a second?
Second.
So I have a motion by Councilor Copeland, seconded by Councilor Minthorn.
Take
Yeah.
Doyle, since I'm making the motion.
Well,
It doesn't
it's a
matter.
friendly, I'm really looking at it as a friendly amendment
That's fine.
anyway.
No
so.
such thing as friendly.
Oh, yes, there is. So, come on. So, anyway,
It's fine.
any comments on the amendment to my left? Any comments on the amendment to my right? Seeing none, this vote is on amending the original motion. Councilor Johnston?
Yes.
Councilor Minthorn?
Yes.
Councilor Copeland?
Yes.
Councilor Doyle?
Yes.
Councilor Gay?
Yes.
And Councilor Archer? Yes. So that motion passes 6-0. We're back to the main motion in item E, Property Tax Assistance Program as amended.
Mr. Mayor, could I make a comment at this point?
Yes, sir.
I just want everyone at home to know that's listening that the way the program is set up, based on the new state law that will be coming online approximately October 1st, is what we are targeting the 100 hours and the $1,200. Now, any hours earned in calendar year 2019 will be earned at $11 an hour. And the remaining hours earned in 2020 will be at the $12 an hour, which is the current state increase in the minimum wage that's programmed to go, is in effect right now. So people need to understand that they may get paid a little differently year to year as this progresses throughout the fiscal year.
Yes, thank you for that clarification. Any other comments to my left? Seeing none, any comments to my right? So again, the motion is the property tax assistance program as amended.
It has been
Counselor Archer? Aye. Counselor Gay?
Yes.
Counselor Doyle?
Yes.
Counselor Copeland?
Yes.
Counselor Minthorn?
Yes.
And Counselor Johnston?
Yes.
The motion passes 6-0.
Congratulations, seniors.
So the next item up is item A on the agenda, which is a public hearing on a renewal for a special entertainment license, and that would be Councilor Copeland.
Okay, it's not going automatically there by my bookmark. Let me just find it. What page is it on here?
It's page 47.
Usually when you click on the bookmarks, it goes there, but it's not doing it.
You want to just read this?
No, I have it here.
47, 49, 50.
The Biddeford Saco Country Club has applied for a renewal of their special entertainment permit. The permit will be concurrent with the establishment's liquor license. The applicant has paid all applicable permit fees, and the clerk has properly advertised the public hearing in accordance with the Saco City Code. Pardon me. Chapter 93, Entertainment, Section 93-2. I move to open the public hearing.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilor Copeland, seconded by Councilor Minthorn, to open a public hearing on the renewal application for the special entertainment permit for the Biddeford Saco Country Club. So, any comments to my right? Any comments to my left? Councilor Johnston?
Yes.
Councilor Minthorn?
Yes.
Councilor Copeland?
Yes.
Councilor Doyle?
Yes.
Councilor Gay?
Yes.
And Councilor Archer?
Yes.
The motion passes 6-0. The public hearing is now open. So would anyone like to come forward and speak to this particular matter? Seeing none. Councilor Copeland.
I move to close the public hearing and be it ordered that the City Council grant the renewal application submitted by the Biddeford Saco Country Club for the special entertainment permit to be concurrent with the establishment's current liquor license. I move to approve the order.
Second.
So I have a motion by Councilor Copeland, seconded by Councilor Doyle, to close the public hearing. Any comments to my right? Any comments to my left? Councilor Archer?
Yes.
Councilor Gay?
Yes.
Councilor Doyle?
Yes.
Councilor Copeland?
Yes.
Councilor Minthorn?
Yes.
And Councilor Johnston?
Yes.
That motion passes 6-0. The public hearing is now closed. Councilor Johnston, do you have a motion?
Island Brewing LLC, doing business as the Run of the Mill, has applied for renewal of their special entertainment permit. A permit will be concurrent with the establishment's liquor license. The applicant has paid all applicable permit fees, and the clerk has properly advertised the public hearing in accordance with Saco City Code, Chapter 93, Entertainment, Section 93-2. I move to open the public hearing.
Second.
So I have a motion by Councilor Johnston, seconded by Councilor Minthorn, to open a public hearing on a renewal application for a special entertainment permit for Run of the Mill. Any comments to my right? Any comments to my left? Councilor Johnston?
I move to close the public hearing.
I was going to go for a vote to open it first.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilor Minthorn?
Yes.
Councilor Copeland?
Yes.
Councilor Doyle?
Yes.
And Councilor Gay?
Yes.
And Councilor Archer? Yes. The public hearing is now open. Would any members of the public like to step forward and speak to the special entertainment permit for Run of the Mill?
That means staff too, they're the public, right?
Come on.
Come on, we need someone.
Hey. So, seeing none, Councilor Johnston.
I move to close the public hearing, be it ordered that the City Council grant the renewal application submitted by Island Brewing LLC, doing business as the Run of the Mill, for a special entertainment permit to be concurrent with the establishment's current liquor license.
And you
Second.
move to approve the
To
order.
approve the order.
Councilor, and seconded by Councilor Minthorn. So, any comments to my left? Any comments to my right? Councilor Archer? Yes. Councilor Gay?
Yes.
Councilor Doyle?
Yes.
And Councilor Copeland?
Yes.
Councilor Minthorn? And Councilor Johnston?
Yes.
That motion passes 6-0. The public hearing is now closed. Next up is a first reading. Counselor Gay.
I think I referred this to.
Oh, you wanted to give it to Counselor Doyle. Do you mind reading this motion?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Elliot Chamberlain, applicant, had requested a contract zone amendment to add the uses of offices of contractors and tradesmen and contractors to the Park North contract zone. Contract zone agreement by and between Park North Development LLC and Preston Properties LLC and the City of Saco dated December 20th, 2005, amended through October 17th, 2016. At their meeting on March 19th, 2019, the Planning Board reviewed the contract zone amendment request and forwarded a positive recommendation to the City Council for the following. Add offices of contractors and tradesmen as a permitted use to Parcel 2 of the of the Park North contract zone, and add contractors as a conditional use to Parcel 2 of the Park North contract zone. Planning Board has forwarded a positive recommendation to the City Council. I move to approve the first reading and adopt the findings in the contract zone document entitled Contract Zone Agreement by and between Park North Development LLC and Preston Properties LLC and the City of Saco dated December 20th, 2015 and amended on September 3rd, 2013 and October 17th, 2016, and to schedule a public hearing on June 17th, 2019.
Second.
So I have a motion by Counselor Doyle, seconded by Counselor Gay. The motion is a first reading of the Park North Contract Zone amendment request. Any comments to my right? Any comments to my left
So comments about this?
about that?
I do.
Counselor Copeland.
First, I wanted to say that it's very helpful to have in this agenda packet to have what the planning board has talked about, and I find that very helpful. And there was also information, is this the one I think it is, about things that are unfinished yet. There was a chart of unfinished things. So I think that we should not approve, here it is, this is it.
Several of them.
We should not approve this until those unfinished things are finished. So on page,
I don't believe that.
68
I
of,
don't believe it's the intention of this amendment to absolve the developer from anything. It's to bring this this item so that it's before the council again rather than before the planning board.
No.
No?
No, this is a new amendment to an existing contract zone.
Yeah, but it
And-
doesn't get rid of any of the
True,
requirements.
but the problem I have with this is that
Okay,
over
please.
2 years ago, and I wish our mics were working, I'm a little annoyed by that. Over 2 years ago, the previous council had put deadlines. They've lapsed a long time ago. So, and it was actually 3 years ago we set the deadlines. He had a year to complete them. He hasn't completed them. That's a zoning violation. Why are we continuing to let him do anything is my current feeling. Like, it's not that difficult to complete trails. It's not that difficult to complete the sidewalks that were required. So why do we continue to allow this applicant to continually get amendments? Furthermore, on the amendments themselves, has any counselor asked themselves maybe why this use wasn't allowed to begin with? That's what I would suggest. Think about that. Look at the approved uses that are already approved, and then think about how this use fits in with those uses, and then think back to the original approval and recognize that this was supposed to be a mixed-use development with residential and uses like retail, restaurants,
not construction.
not construction companies. You know, I was willing to let the Hancock lumber slide because I thought it was a fairly good use for the area. But I look across the border, and we have a brand-new restaurant in Scarborough. Personally, I find it insulting that this same applicant that's doing that project in Scarborough didn't think to locate a restaurant or a retail use on this side. So, I mean, I'm a flat out no, period on it, but
Okay, thank you. Okay, Councilor Copeland, and I stand corrected. I thought it was much more mundane. After Councilor Copeland,
It
I
is
will
not.
ask Mr. Sutherland if he would have explain.
There are 5 issues that are identified here. Land to be conveyed or turned over to the city within 3 years after the first CO issued for any dwelling on the commercial structure. And, they're gonna, now,
years past.
it's not done. I mean, there's an email from Mr. Chamberlain dated March 19th, and he expressed that he's gonna convey it. But expressing it and doing it are 2 different things, and we're falling short of actual action here on this. And the second one is he's subject to all applicable city, state, and federal permit requirements. And the original TMP, help me with that, somebody? What is a TMP?
traffic movement permit.
Say it again?
Traffic movement permit.
Traffic movement
permit.
So he hasn't had the traffic movement permit done. It's sunsetted. He has to submit a new application, but it's just about emails and not getting done. The other one is applicant to construct off-road trail system with city's consultation with phase 1 completed by 11/1/17. And that's the one that really brought my attention to this whole thing. Big on trails, looking for things to connect, and I'm very excited about this, but I haven't seen the results. I hear a lot of talk, I see emails, I don't see results. The other one I see is construction of public sidewalk. I mean, I remember before I was a counselor listening to them talk about the sidewalks over there. It's not done. And there's no reason listed in his chart why it's not done. And it needs to be designed to the satisfaction of Public Works by April 1st, 2017, and constructed no later than 11/1/2017. And this was not completed within the required timeline of the CZA, with no further explanation. So I don't see why we should be giving any more on this until the expectations that have been laid out and called to his attention on numerous occasions, until they're completed.
Okay, thank you. And before I go to Mr. Sutherland, may I ask Councilor Archer, you have something to add?
Yes, just as more of a question for clarification. When you bring a contract zone like this to be amended, that opens up the whole document to scrutiny, correct?
Yes.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, so if there's some items, I'm gonna think more about it because we still have a couple more meetings till we vote on this issue. I can actually delete items from this document because it came back to us. I can make a motion to
Well,
potentially.
we can make a motion to table this
The
to a
whole
later
document
meeting so that the
now up
clock
to further
stops.
scrutiny,
Absolutely.
Yes.
maybe additional conditions.
Right. So, anything,
We did before.
anything else, Councilor Doyle? No? So, Mr. Sutherland, Councilor Doyle has something. Oh, Councilor Gay first.
It's also holding up a lot of.
Speak into the microphone, even though
Doesn't work.
it's not reaching.
Doesn't work.
Here, it's going out on the internet.
It also holds up other contractors out in that area from establishing a business.
Okay, great. Yes, and Councilor Doyle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm a little concerned if we hold this up, but at the same token, I agree with some of the comments from fellow councilors here. But I'm thinking maybe a motion to table until our June 17th meeting is probably a good idea, although I believe Mr. Chamberlain came in and kind of gave us an update at the last meeting, but it might be beneficial to table this until the June 17th meeting and get some more clarification.
Okay, before I accept a motion, let me ask Mr. Sutherland, would you like to make a statement associated with this?
I mean, if it doesn't seem like the council's supportive of moving this forward, probably should have realized that last week, but I would support the idea of postponing it so I can have a conversation with the developer and answer questions that the councilors have or recommendations for additional changes that should be made, giving us some time to do so.
Okay, thank you. So do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to table until June 17th, 2019.
Second.
So I have a motion by Councilor Doyle, seconded by Councilor Archer, to table this until June 17th, the June 17th meeting. Any comments?
Perhaps there'll be an update at the workshop prior
On
to
the
the
10th.
to the 17th.
Yep, we'll certainly look
And
to
then
add
if-
that
Thank you.
to the workshop. Any other comments to my right? Any comments to my left? Seeing none. Councilor Archer? Aye. Councilor Gay?
Yes.
Councilor Doyle?
Yes.
Councilor Copeland?
Yes.
Councilor Minthorn?
Yes.
And Councilor Johnston?
Yes.
The motion to table passes 6-0. This item will be tabled to our next regularly scheduled meeting on June 17th at 6:30. So, next up is the administrative update.
This evening, I'm just going to mention a few events, ribbon cuttings, and grand openings. Emily had forwarded an email that identified a few. Mary Taylor Photography in 110 Main Street will have a ribbon cutting and grand opening June 7th at 10:30 a.m. Our school budget validation election is happening June 11th. Absentee voting is happening now here in City Hall. That's at our community center on Franklin Street, 75 Franklin Street. And finally, we'll have another grand opening for the new renovated space for Deli and Company, which is also in 110 Main Street, on June 12th at 5:30 p.m. So as we have more events, we'll be notifying the council and invite you to attend with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Council discussion and comment. Councilor Gay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Does anybody have an update on the 112 bypass? I was asked by some constituents about that.
Mr. Sutherland, do you have anything on the 112 bypass?
The final report has been completed and reviewed with staff from MTA, DOT, and City of Saco. I believe a press release is coming out in another couple of days. We need to communicate with our marketing communications.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Doyle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to commend the Saco Main Street and the good work they did with this past weekend with Bark in the Park. It was a great event. A lot of people were cycling through, a lot of vendors there. Just an overall great event in the community.
Thank you. Any comments, Councilor Minthorn, then Councilor Copeland?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to congratulate my son, Senator Justin Chenette, on being accepted into the Senior Executives in State and Local Government program at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government this summer. He's one of 6 individuals that received a full-ride scholarship, and only 30 individuals nationally that have been accepted into this program. So it's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Congratulations, Justin.
Justin.
Congratulations. Councilor Copeland.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to specifically talk about the Parks and Rec Department and the extraordinary things that are happening there with the great leadership of Ryan Summer and Erica Dubé. Just some notes. On Earth Day, there was a celebration and a work day, and which was the brainchild of Amelia Meyer. And there were 87 people signed up to clean up around in, I think, 6 or 7 parks. And over 125 people attended the first annual vendor fair, which was held back at the community center. Thank you to Amelia, Director Summers, and Deputy Director Erica Dubé, and our Parks and Rec staff. Another note, the small dog park is in. It's connected to the large dog one. That was a great thing to be seen. There were lots of dogs enjoying a little bit more peace in the little area there during Bark in the Park. A note to everybody that lifeguards will be on duty beginning June 14th. But I wanted to also talk about the culture there and the wonderful people in the Parks and Rec department. There was one of the employees was injured in a motor vehicle accident, and the other, his coworkers, and have donated over 218 hours of their sick time for this person so that he can get through this. And so nice way to raise them up. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the collaboration between the Conservation Commission and the Parks and Rec, and specifically to call out at this point Ryan Gorman, who has done a great job in identifying some issues over at Cascade Park, Cascade Falls. He was able to get $4,000 from the state by collaborating with them and working with them. And there's a fabulous plan in place to connect trails and to hopefully even connect trails with some of construction over on Mr. Chamberlain's property. So there's they're working together on that with Waterfall Drive. So that's really big. And there's also, for the 9th year in a row, Saco is a tree city. And that's something that we should be very proud of. I know that the Conservation Commission and Parks and are working, and Planning and Development are working on a tree ordinance for our city because we don't have one outside of the shoreland zoning. And so I just wanted to give a great shout out to that department they're just coming together and really making Saco the best it can be.
Okay, any other comments to my left? Councillor Johnston.
Earlier tonight, we accepted several different asset forfeitures, and I'm going to request something I've requested just about every year, which is Chapter 15 of the City Code requires that 90 days after the end of the fiscal year, council is given a written report which indicates the sources of the money, the dates, the amount and purpose of expenditures, and the balance brought forward. In addition, funds may not exceed $25,000 in this fund. Anything over is supposed to be returned to the general fund. And then something else I noticed this weekend, we're accepting a vehicle, and the way I read the code, that vehicle is either to be utilized by the PD or sold, and the monetary, funds are supposed to be distributed back into this fund. So, I mean, we're the proud owners of it, or will be the proud owners of a 2009 Honda, I guess. So I'm just, a couple things I caught. And then the other thing I noticed was a few years back, we had amended the zoning for caregiver, medical marijuana caregiver facilities into the I-2. And we had put a 500-foot, it was supposed to be a 500-foot setback from schools. I believe it was Councilor Roach and myself that had amended that to 1,000 feet, but that has not been updated in the zoning. So,
It still doesn't show on the zone?
correct.
Despite it passed in 2018?
It, 16, 17,
2016?
somewhere in there. I can bring you the information, but it's something some of you will remember. We amended it the night of. Yeah.
Okay.
So it just hasn't been updated online.
The map hasn't been updated?
No,
The actual ordinance.
the wording in the ordinance wasn't changed to 1,000 feet.
I can bring you the details on Wednesday if it's helpful.
Okay, look forward to that on Wednesday. Anything else?
That's it for now.
That was plenty.
I've got
I'm
more.
sure that police were looking forward to some sort of an evidence vehicle, crime scene vehicle.
Seems like a great undercover
The Honda
vehicle.
Accord would be used by non-law enforcement personnel to go to trainings and especially dispatch.
The Honda?
The Honda Accord.
The way, you had indicated that previously to me, but the way I read the code, it says that it has to be utilized by the PD for law enforcement or sold off and the funds put into that.
Would be used for PD, for the police department.
For
would
law
use this car.
enforcement.
Yes,
This car would be used for the
to
police
attend,
department.
to attend
Trainings.
training.
Okay.
So if they drive to Norwich Walk, they could use the Honda.
And I guess while I'm at it, one of the other things that has always kind of irritated me about asset forfeiture is there's real no indication as to why we're repossessing or being given these assets. I understand, but there's no details as to
what
why.
was the-
And I remember a case several years ago
Right.
where a vehicle was taken by the city of Sauk or given to by the court, and it was a vehicle that was owned by a parent whose children were involved with drugs, and they seized the vehicle, and they ultimately seized the parent's vehicle. I mean, I just don't, personally, I don't want that vehicle if that's the case, whether it was used in a crime or not. You know, it's what your children do aren't really necessarily your responsibility in my mind.
Right. No,
I remember that
Understand
case,
that,
I remember
yeah.
hearing about it, and so.
okay. So any comments on that, Mr. Sutherland?
I will work with the PD to review our asset forfeiture, and after the close of the fiscal year, we'll take a look at all of it and bring it to council.
Thank you.
Okay, well, let me point out that in the audience this evening, we have Deputy Chief Clements, Deputy Chief Huntress, the City Solicitor, Attorney Murphy, the Chief of the Fire Department, Chief Duras, and the Head of Planning and Economic Development, Ms. Clavette, Denise Clavette. So, without any further ado then, if I could have a motion to enter executive session?
So moved.
I
Be
need
it ordered.
I need it read.
I sucked you in and you fell for it.
Yeah.
Be it ordered that the City Council enter into executive session pursuant to MRSA Title I, Chapter 13, Subchapter 1, Section 406, C, Economic Development, Potential Site for Safety Building. Item C, Credit Enhancement Agreement, Terms and Conditions. Item D, City Administrator's Contract Negotiation. And item E, Consultation and Counsel regarding a pending matter.
So do I have a second for that motion?
Second.
So I believe that was Councilor Doyle seconded that. So motion by Councilor Minthorn, seconded by Councilor Doyle to enter into executive session. Any comments to my right? Any comments to my left? Councilor Johnston? Councilor Minthorn?
Yes.
Councilor Copeland?
Yes.
Councilor Doyle?
Yes.
Councilor Gay? And Councilor Archer. That motion to enter executive session passes 6 Hello?
Echo. No, a little bit.
Kevin, please find out what's going on with these speakers.
I will. I didn't know there were.
The lack of feedback's killing us. Well, the biggest problem is, it's like Marshall can't hear Lynn.
I was trying to.
Okay.
I guess you.
I would like to have a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved?
Councilor Minthorn has made a motion to come out of executive session. Do I have a second? Councilor Doyle has seconded that motion. All in favor? No, I can't do that, can I? Any comments to my right? Any comments to my left? Councilor Archer?
Yes.
Councilor Gay?
Yes.
Councilor Doyle?
Yes.
Councilor Copeland?
Yes.
Councilor Minthorn?
Yes.
Councilor Johnston?
Yes.
We are now out of executive session. The vote was 6-0. Is there a report from executive session?
There is no report, Mayor, on all 4 items.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Second.
So, motion to adjourn was made by Councilor Minthorn, seconded by Councilor Gay. Councilor Archer?
No.
Councilor Doyle?
Yes.
Councilor Gay?
Yes.
And Councilor Minthorn?
Yes.
Councilor Copeland?
Yes.
And Councilor Johnston?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 5-1.